Welcome to Math 221 Linear Algebra at Red Deer Polytechnic. I'm Dr. Wes. Linear algebra is really just the math of lines. That's it. It's right in the name, linear. The root word is line. Now, why we study that, linear algebra, is because it appears absolutely everywhere. If you're a computer scientist, it'll appear in artificial neural networks. If you're a biologist and you're gathering data, you tend to get just like a cloud of data. You want to make sense of this, so you simplify it by summarizing it with a line of best fit. We might also study planes in mathematics, and more advanced topics are the linearization of differential equations. Okay, so they're very common. They pop up in all sorts of science and engineering and computer science, and that's why we study it. Okay, let's go to what this course consists of. We'll have weekly assignments. The number of assignments will vary by week according to how many topics we have for that week. And I'll try to make them due Sundays at 11:59, although this first week we'll extend that just so that you have enough practice. We'll have bi-weekly quizzes. Those will appear roughly every second week. On these dates, they'll be assigned. I'll be available at 4 o'clock in B501. You can join me there and we'll talk about them. They'll be due on the Tuesday. These are all Monday dates. They'll be due at the end of our class on Tuesday at 4 o'clock in B501. And I'll take the best 5 of 6 of those. The midterm will be on 18 October. It'll be online, open resource, as will our final. But the final a date hasn't been set yet, and we don't have control over that. We just wait for RDP to set it for us. Okay? Now, all your assignments, your weekly assignments, are going to occur on My Open Math, so you're welcome to check it out right now and register for it and get familiar with it. Okay, so a bit about me. I am Dr. Wes. I have a PhD in math biology, and I studied the evolution of social behaviors, and now I do a lot of work in mathematics education at the post-secondary level. I had a brilliant summer full of travel. Here's a statue of Mozart in Vienna and Graz in Austria. Did a lot of travel, did some festivals, enjoyed a lot of good food, and of course spent a lot of time with my kids this summer. I'm excited to be back at RDP. I'm really looking forward to this year. I think we're going to have a great time. Okay, tell me a bit about you. The way we'll do this, considering we're asynchronous hybrid, I want you all to introduce each other in the discussion forum. There's only a few of us. Last time I checked, right before this recording, there were 11 registered, so that's not too many. But I do want you to just post in the discussion, post your name, your major, and something interesting about you. What did you do this summer? Or what are your career plans? Okay? Throughout this course, you'll be interacting with each other, and the more you interact with each other, the better experience you'll have. So if you're ever struggling with a topic, you're ever struggling with a question, you post in that discussion forum, make sure you're active there, you're responding, you're posting, and that's how you're going to get the most out of this course. Okay? Let's look at what this course involves. So here we have a system of linear equations. This is something you would have seen in middle school and throughout high school. And we can solve this, and when we are looking at solving something like this, we want to find an x and a y that satisfy both of these equations at the same time. Okay? There's many different ways you could solve this. You could write one equation in terms of y and then sub it into the other, etc. You can choose however you have learned to solve it, whatever method you'd like to use. One way might be to add the two equations together. Okay? So I'm just going to do this column addition. I'm going to add 3x plus x, that's going to give me 4x, I have plus y here, minus y, that gives me 0y. And on the right-hand side, I have 2 plus 4, which will give me 6. Okay, so I don't need to write that y. I just have 4x equals 6. Okay, and I can solve that. X is just 6 over 4, so I just divided both sides by 4. That gives me 3 over 2 to reduce it a bit. Okay, now I could take this and I could sub it back in, for example, in the second equation. And then I would have 3 over 2 minus y equals 4. Now if I were to solve that, I would get y is equal to, let's do some quick mental math, 3 over 2 minus 8 over 2 would give me minus 5 over 2. Okay? And you can double check that this is correct by just subbing it back into the equations, both of the equations, to double check. Okay, I'm going to leave that on the screen and I'm going to go look at another possibility of how to solve this. That's via Desmos, and I'll be using Desmos extensively throughout the course. Okay, so it's just desmos.com, very simple online graphing calculator, but also very powerful. So let's type in the expressions we had. We had 3x plus y is equal to 2. So there's our first line in that system of linear equations. And then the second one was x minus y equals 4. There's our second line, that blue line. Okay, now if we look at these two lines, a solution is where they intersect. Here it is, where they intersect, the one point of intersection. And if you look at the numbers, that point is 1.5 comma minus 2.5, which is exactly what I found here. I could convert these fractions to decimals, and so this is 1.5 and this is minus 2.5, which is exactly this point here. So what you see is that we solved this linear system algebraically, but we can also solve it geometrically. Okay? It gives us the same solution, and it's two different perspectives on the same thing. So that's very much what this course is about, looking at lines, linear equations, and different ways of dealing with them. Okay, what are some of the prerequisite skills and abilities and knowledge that you would need for this course? You should be able to do some quick mental math, but basic mental math, multiplication, addition, etc. It's totally fine if you're using a calculator, but you don't want that to hold you back. You want to be able to have some basic competence in elementary math. Okay? That also includes working with algebraic expressions, for example, solving for an unknown, like in this case here. You also should have a conceptual understanding of some things we might encounter in elementary math. For example, thinking of those linear equations both in terms of algebra and in terms of geometry. And finally, you need to have this perspective that anyone can do math. That you might not understand the problem at hand, you might not know how to do something, but you can persist and you can learn and you can interact with your colleagues, you can interact with me, and eventually you will get it. Okay, that's the type of mindset you need to have in a course like this. Okay? Well, that's it for our introductory video. I'll be posting more on our initial topics, but what you should do is go to Blackboard, post the something about yourself in the discussion forum, go to My Open Math, get familiar with that, register, etc., and I'll see you in the next video.